Okay, what you're learning is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, now, but this is not a part of your course. Okay, jQuery, Bootstrap, okay, Angular, okay, yes. No, this is not a part of your course. What you're learning is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And JavaScript you learn in detail. Okay. So everything in detail. Don't think that only JavaScript depth. HTML, CSS, as well as JavaScript. But once you're familiar with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, you can work with the jQuery as well as what Bootstrap. Because Bootstrap is only library. jQuery is what again? Library. JavaScript library. If you have a knowledge of JavaScript, CSS, then you can work with the jQuery as well as Bootstrap. You don't require to learn separately this. So that is your wish. Okay, but what you're learning is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If possible, I'll tell you how to work with Bootstrap. Introduction to Bootstrap and introduction to jQuery. So don't expect me like complete Bootstrap and complete jQuery. No. Introduction means how to use Bootstrap and how to use a jQuery in your web application, right? Yes. Then next is, let us see the previous topic. Now in the last class, we started with tables, right? We are talking about HTML tables. Now HTML table, as a table is used for representing which data? Table data or tabular data. It is used to represent data in rows and columns, and table does not define layout of the web page. But some people, they try to define a layout of the web page by using what? Tables. Not preferable and preferable. Okay, I can say you can also use a table to define the layout of the web page. But HTML5 provides the following tags for working with a table. How many tags we have seen? Like table caption, table header, table footer, table column group, table header, table row, and table data. And I said table. Now this represents what? Table. If you want to create a table, you start with which tag? Table tag. And table, what it contain? Rows. How you represent the rows? By using TR. And table is having table header. How you represent table header row? By using TH. This is TR is for table data row and TH is for table header row. And how you define the cell? By using table data. Okay. And you can define the caption of the table by using which one? Caption, right? And table, this is what I said. Table is having which one? Border. And you can also define the width. Okay. Table is having border. And even you can also define the border color. Okay. Border is there and border color. So you can define the line color or border color. And it is having some attributes like BG color and background. But generally, when you are working with HTML5, you don't use a BG color in background. Instead of that, you try to define this by using which one? Styles. You try to define it by using styles. See, always formatting in HTML, formatting of the web page, never done with the help of which one? Attributes of the tag, but it is done with the help of which one? Styles. That is CSS. Okay, but to understand that CSS, even you should have the knowledge of which one? Attributes, right? So background color and background image. Background color and background image is there. This is how you set the background color and background image. And after that, I said there is attributes like width and height. So this width and height can be applied to the table cell as well as what? Row. Okay, now height, this attribute is used by table data and table header. Now cell as well as row also you can use this. Okay, row as well as columns. Okay, now this is defining the table width as well as what height. So there is alignment. Now this is which alignment? Horizontal alignment, and there is also which alignment? Vertical alignment. Okay, so there is a horizontal alignment, and there is also which one? Vertical. Vertical alignment is like this can be aligned within the cell, that is top, bottom, center. Okay. For example, if you take this is one cell. Okay, if you take this as a cell, right? For example, if this is a cell is there. Okay. Now, if I'm saying top, this is top here. Okay, this is a top, vertical alignment top, and this is vertical alignment is what? Bottom, and this is vertical alignment what here? Center. And there is a horizontal alignment. What is it here? Left, and this alignment is what? Right, and this alignment is a center. So there are two alignments out there. One is a vertical alignment and one more is a horizontal alignment. So by default align, this is called which alignment? Horizontal alignment. If you want vertical alignment, so this attribute, okay, yesterday we have not seen this. This attribute is used to align text within, okay, within cell. How? Vertically. Okay, vertically. The value of this attribute is, okay, the value of this attribute is, okay, what is a top, and one more is a bottom, and one more is a center. So this is given to what? TD, table data align, vertical align as well as horizontal align, right? But these okay, these values are used with what? Horizontal alignment, that is a left, right, center, and one more is justify. Then after that, see, just to see here, there is a align and there is a vertical align, and this attribute is used to align text within cell vertically. The value of this attribute is either top, bottom, or what? Center. But these values are used with which alignment? Horizontal alignment, that is a left, right, and one more is center and justify. Okay, then this is what we have seen in the previous class. Align is there, table header alignment, left, right, center, and one more is justify. Okay, so this is an example what we have seen. Then next is merging rows and columns. How you are merging these rows and columns? For that, you are using two attributes. One is row span and one more is column span. Okay, but before merging, yes, a row span is there and one more is a column span. Okay, spanning, like merging. Okay, merging number of rows and columns. So that is done by using row span, and one more is a column span. See here. Now column span and row span attributes, you will use column span attribute if you want to merge how many columns here? Two or more columns into a single column. Similarly, if you want to merge two or more rows, then you can merge it by using which one? Row span. So when you go for this merging, for example, you are creating a table like this. For example, you are creating table like this. Okay, assume that this is one row, and this row is there is a roll number. Okay, what is there here? Roll number is there, and there is a name. Okay, assume that this is what here? Name. Okay, roll number and name, and this name is having. Okay, this name is having. Assume that. So name. For example, see, roll number is there. Roll number is represented with how many rows? See here, it is one row, but this one row is this one row is represented merging how many rows here? 2 rows. Now that is a name, and assume that, okay, assume that these are some subjects. These are what here? Subjects. It means you are merging these 2 rows and representing it as how many? Span, row span. In the same way, for example, this is a name. Okay, this name is having, see here, this name is a first name. One is a first, this is a first name, and there is a last name. Okay, there is a first name and there is a last name is there. Okay, suppose this name is one column. This name is what here? One column, and this name contain how many columns here? 2 columns. It means these 2 columns are merged as how many columns? 1 column, and that is called as which span? Column span. Now there are 2 things out there. One is row and one more is a column. Suppose assume that this is some subject 1. Okay, now there is a subject 1 and there is a subject 2 marks. There is a subject 1 marks and there is a subject 2 marks. Now this you can call it as which span? Column span. Okay, merging 2 columns as 1 column, and merging 2 columns as 1 column, and merging 2 rows as 1 row. So that you call it as row span and column span. Now just to see here. Now this is how you are trying to create the table. Okay, assume that this is a student. Now the caption of this is, okay, this is student marks, okay, student marks sheet. So where you have some number of roll numbers like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, and there is a first name. Okay, there is a first name here. So this we can call it as first name. Okay, all these are first names, and assume that. So this is called as a last name here, right? Yes. So, but how you are preparing this? By using row span and column span. Now this value is a 50, and this value is a 60, and this value is 70 and some 80. First we'll see how to create it, and then we'll discuss. A row span and what is that? Column span. So there is a 90 and this, now these are some marks. Okay, now these are some marks. Now this is header. This you can call it as which one? Table header. This is a header, and this is what here? Data. And is it any footer is there? No, there's no footer. If you want to put, you can create one footer. You can create one footer and you can put how many students are there. The count you can put as a footer. The total number of students are how many? 4 students, right? So row span, let us see this. Now use the column span attribute if you want to merge 2 or more rows or 2 or more columns into a single column. 2 or more columns into a single column. Now further you are using column span, and if you want to merge 2 or more rows into 1 row, then you are using which one? Row span. Let us see the let us see with the example here, right? Yes. So assume that, okay, assume that, okay, assume that. So this is, now I'm creating a table with, a table with how many columns here? 3 columns are there. See here. So document type HTML, and HTML, and there is a header, and title I just given HTML table column span and row span. So table border is 1, and you are saying table row, and how many columns, how many column headers are there? 3 are there. So that is column 1, column 2, and one more is a column 3. Let us close this table. Let us close this table and close this body and close even what? HTML, right? Okay. Okay, now this is some 21.html. So I just try to open the web application, right? So what will happen now? It is created table with how many columns here? 3 columns. That is column 1, column 2, and column 3, right? After creating this, now I want to create the number of rows here. Number of rows. Suppose if you see in this example, what you are saying, table row. Now this is one row, and you are creating one row by merging how many rows here? 2 rows. You are creating one row here. You are creating one row by merging how many rows here? 2 rows. What is the meaning of this? For example, see, don't be confused. It's very simple. Okay. Suppose, assume that. Okay, assume that. Okay. So this is one more row I created. This is a row, and after creating a row, I'm trying to define the cell. Okay, this is nothing but row 1, cell 1, row 1, cell 2. What is cell? Intersection of rows and column. This is one row or not? Yes, this is a beginning of the row and this is a end of the row. Now this is a first row or not? Yes, first row, first column is row 1, cell 1, and row 1, cell 2, and row 1, cell 3. So what will happen if I refresh this? Okay, now you can see row 1, cell 1, row 1, cell 2, row 1, cell 3. Okay, so this row is having how many cells here? 3 cells. 3 cells means each cell is one column or not? Yes. Okay, then here I said row span 2. If I'm saying row span 2, it means you are merging how many rows here? 2 rows. Into how many rows? 1 row. Okay, then next I'm creating another row. I'm creating another row. Now this is which row? Second row. Okay, this is which row here? Second row is there. This is a second row. Second row is there. This is second row. See here, you are spanning how many rows here? 2 rows. Now TR and TR, row 2, and what is it? Cell 2, and row 2, and what is it? Cell 3. Row 2, cell 2, and row 2, cell 3. So what will happen in this case? You can see this. What happened here? How many rows are merged here? How many rows are merged here? 2 rows. 2 rows merged and represented as what? 1 row. 2 rows are merged and represented as what? 1 row. See here. TD, row span equal to what? 2. It means this is one row 1 and cell 1. And this is row 1 and cell 2. And this is row 1 and cell 3. Now cell 1 is there. No, you are spanning how many rows here? 2 rows. Now this is a cell 1, right? This is a cell 1 and you are spanning how many rows here? 2 rows. You are spanning how many rows here? 2 rows here. For example, yes. So here these 2 rows are merged. Is it these 2 rows are merged or not? Yes. And represented as what? Represented as what? 1. Represented as what? 1. For that, you are using row span equal to what here? 2. So row 2, cell 2. Row 2 and one more is what? Cell 3. Now I'm trying to create one more row here. This is another row. This row, you are trying to use what? Column span. And what is the column span is given? 3. What is the column span is given here? 3. So this is one more row. This is one more row. And this is TD and table data. This is nothing but column span 3, row 3, and what is it? Cell 1. Row 3, cell 1 means just to see the output so that you can understand. Row 3, cell 1. It means how many cells are, how many columns are spanned here? 3 columns. This is column 1, column 2, and column 3. Now this is row 3, and what is it? Cell 1. This is row 3, and what is it? cell 1. So here we used, what we used here? Column span 3. So row 3 and cell 1. It means these 3 columns are represented as how many cells? 1 cell. These 3 columns are represented as how many cells? 1 cell. 1 cell means 1 column or not? Yes. But in this case, these 2 rows are represented as how many row? 1 row. These 2 rows are merged as how many rows here? 1 row. See, here I used, please just try to understand this. A row span, just here. Down, column span and row span attributes. You will use column span attribute if you want to merge 2 or more columns into a single column. 2 or more columns into a single column, then you are using which one? Column span. Similarly, you will use row span if you want to merge 2 or more rows. If you want to merge 2 or more rows, then you are using which one? Row span. For example, if you see this example here, I want to do this one. For example, I want to do this one. Then this is a header or not? Yes. So there is a roll number. Row span how many? Row span how many? A roll number with a row span how many? 2. Row span with how many? 2. Right? And then there is a name. There is a name and there is a subject one. Name. Name is with the name is with the column span how many? 2. Then subject one with the column span how many? 2. Yes or no? Okay, very simple. Then what is the first cell? First name. What is the second cell? Last name. Subjects. This is a subject 1 and this is a subject 2. So you try this one, right? I'll try to place in the document. Okay, now will you try or not? Okay. So this is a row span and what is a column span? Okay. Now you can also have. Let me tell you one more example otherwise, so that you can understand this row span and what is that column span. Let me tell you one more example, right? So here, let me tell you one more example of this. So there is a document type, okay, HTML, and there is an HTML. So there is a header and title is there. Okay, a row span, column span, example. Okay, now this is a title here. Okay, I try to close the header and there is a, yes, and after that I'm saying table border, and the border is given 1, right? Yes, border is given 1, and there is a table row and table header. So there is a table header. What is that? Row span. There's a table header, and what is that row span? Equal to how many rows I'm taking? 2 rows. Table header. Is it this is one cell or not? Yes. What is this table header? Employee number is there. So that if you understand this, that exercise you can do it. Row span I've taken how many? 2. So how many rows you are trying to merge? 2 rows. Okay. Then next is what? 2. So this is employee number. Now what is this here? Employee number. Employee number. I've just taken employee number. Okay. Employee number. And then next is TH. Okay, TH. What is this here? Employee name. Employee name. This is a header. And TH. And what is this here? Salary. TH. What is this here? Salary. Right? Then I try to close table row. But see, employee number is spanned with how many rows here? 2 rows. That is with the employee name and one more is a salary. Employee name and one more is a salary. Right? Yes. Then next is I'm trying to create another row. So this is a row. What this row is having table? Yes, this is a data. See here, this is a data with 101 I've taken. Suppose now this is table data. I said 101. So this 101, is it represent employee number or employee name? Tell me, this 101 represent employee number or employee name? Employee number. Okay, I just close this. Okay, what is this here? Table. I should close the table. And even I'm trying to close which one? Body. So body as well as HTML. So this is similar to merging of cells or merging of which one? Rows. Okay. Yes. So once I run this, I try to preview this in Google. Now you can see, but where is employee number? Is it employee number is under employee name, or is it employee number is under employee number under employee name? Because you are merging how many cells? You are merging how many rows? 2 rows. You are merging how many rows here? 2 rows. Okay. This merging 2 rows and represent it as what? 1 row. Suppose employee name is there. What employee name is having? What employee name is having? Employee name is having first name is there. Employee name is having first name, and employee name is having which name? Last name. Okay. Suppose last name, first name as well as what? Last name. Employee is having employee. So, but again you have to which one I have to use here? Here I should use which one? Column span. How many columns you have to span here? 2 columns. Now there is a first and there is what here? Last. There is a first and there is a last. Sorry. The salary should be in another. Where is salary? Yes. Salary employee name. Oh, how many columns here? 2 columns. Now this is correct only. There is a table data. There is a first. So this is having first. Okay, this is having which one? First name. No confusion here. This is having first name. This is having first name. Okay, salary is there. Okay, because this is one row or not? Yes. This is one row. This is one row. This is one row. See here. This is one row. 2 rows are merged is what? One row. This is one row, and this is the first row is having employee name and salary, and second row is having first name, and assume that this is okay. Assume that I'm trying to represent this second one. This is first row. This is first row, and this is first row, right? This is first row. First row. This is first row, and this is what? Second row. And then I'm saying yes. There is a first, and after that I'm trying to write here which is salary here? Basic salary, and I just close this by saying TD. Now how many rows are there here? 2 rows. See, this is one row. See, this is one row. Try to understand this. You are trying to merge how many rows here? 2 rows. The previous example, if you see the previous example. Okay. So this is row 1, cell 1, row 1, cell 2, row 1, cell 3. Now this is row 2, cell 2. This is row 2, cell 3. Row 2, cell 2. See here, row 2 and cell 2. See here, this is row 1, cell 1. This is row 1, cell 2. This is row 1, cell 3. Just see this example, previous one. See the previous one. This is row 1, cell 1, row 1, cell 2, and row 1, row 2, cell 2, row 1, cell 3, and row 2, cell 3. So this is a header. Suppose here we did, here what we did, now this is a row span. I've taken how many rows here? Here header itself I've taken 2 rows, right? Header itself I've taken how many rows here? 2 rows, because I want this header should be merged with how many? 2, right? This is a header. What is a header I've taken? Employee number. Just try to modify this only. Try to modify this one only. Previous one. What is the previous one? This is a previous one, right? See here. What I want, column 1, column 2 and column 3 is there. But what is the column 1 here? What is the column 1? Employee number. What is column 2? Employee name. What is column 3? Salary. Column 1 is employee number. Column 2 is a employee name. Column 3 is what? Salary. It means column 1 means here, if I take this as a header, if I take this as what? Header. This is header. Assume that this is header is there. Now I am just removing this. Okay. If you take this as a header, now table header, row span, how many rows here? 2 rows. Now row 1, cell 1. What do you want in row 1, cell 1? Employee number. Okay, now what do you want in row 1, cell 2? What do you want in row 2, cell 2? Employee name. What do you want in row 1, cell 3? Row 1, cell 3, what do you want? Salary. Okay. Then next, row 2, cell 2 is what? Row 2, cell 2 is what? Row 2, cell 2 is what? First name. Row 2, cell 2 is what? First name. And row 2, cell 3 is what? Row 2, cell 3. Row 2, cell 3. Now this is, see, what is this here? Row 2, cell 2 is, what is row 2, cell 2 here? First name. I just taken row 2, cell 2 is this one. And row 2, cell 3 is what? Salary, right? Salary. Will you say last salary? Salary. Now basic salary, whatever it is. Now you can see employee name and this is salary. I'm just giving this salary as which salary? Basic salary. I've taken this as which salary? Basic salary. Now employee name, first salary and what is it? Basic. Okay. Now I'm making this as a TH. I'm making this as a TH. I'm making this as what? TH. I'm making this as what? TH. Because is it table header or not? Yes. This is a table header. Table header. Right? You can see employee name, first salary and what? Basic. Okay. These two cells are merged. These two rows are merged as how many rows? One row. Because this cell 1 is over. Now you have to talk about which one? Cell 2. This is row 1, cell 2. This is row 1, cell 3. This is row 2, cell 2. This is row 2, cell 3. Because row 1 is merged. This row 1 is merged with how many cells here? 2 cells. Okay, this row 1, first cell is merged with how many cells? 2 cells. That is what you have written here. Okay, row span 2. Okay, employee number and employee name and what is it? Salary. Now second row is having already employee number is merged with how many rows? Already this cell is merged with how many rows? 2 rows. Okay, then you have to define which row? First row is over, right? You have to define which row? Second row. You have to define the second row. Now this is a second row, cell 2. This is second row what? Cell 3. This is second row and cell 2. And this is second row what? Cell 3. And this is one more row. And with how many column span? 3. Okay, but here this is having only how many columns? This is second row is having how many columns? Only 1. And third row, this is also having how many columns? Only 1. If you want, you can go for which span? Column span, right? Just try to understand, because this one cell is merged with how many cells here? 2 cells or 2 rows. Row span 2. See here. This is the employee number. This is one row or not? Yes. This cell is merged with how many rows? 2 rows. Then second row, first cell will be there. Tell me, in second row, first cell will be there or not there? Or in second row, first cell not be there? In second row, which cell will be there? Second cell. In second row, which cell will be there? Third cell. Because first cell is already merged with how many rows? 2 rows. First cell is already merged with how many rows here? 2 rows. Then you don't define value for which one? Cell 1. But you define the value for which one? Cell 2. You define the value for which one? cell 3. This is cell 2 and this is cell 3 because cell 1 is merged with how many rows here? 2 rows. Cell 1 is merged with how many rows here? 2 rows. That is row span equal to what? 2. So this cell is marked on by merging how many rows here? 2 rows. Okay. So this is a second row and this is what? First row. Second row. This is first row and this is what? Second row. And these 2 rows are spanned. These 2 rows are what? Merged. Okay, now the way how you are merging 2 rows, in the same way you are merging which one? Columns. Now TR, TD column span 3. Row 3 and cell 1. Row 3 and what is this? Cell 1. Suppose if I don't write here column span, this is nothing but row 3, cell 1. Okay, row 3, cell 2. Row 3, I can write what? Cell 3. This is row 3, cell 1. Yes or no? Can I write row 3? Can I write here row 3 and what is this? Cell 2. Now row 3 is there and cell 2 is there. Okay, cell 2. Now this is row 3, cell 2. Then row 3, I can write what? Cell 3 because are you merging any columns here? No. You are not merging any columns. Now, if I am saying TD and I am saying here column span. If I am saying column span equal to 3, you are merging how many columns here? 3 columns and representing it as what? 1 column. You are merging 3 columns and you are representing it as how many columns? 1 column. Now this is 1 column is there or 1 cell is there or not? Yes. Now that you can call it as which one here? Column span. Row span and one more is a column span. Please just try to understand. It is very simple, right? Then next one is you can also have. Now I said you to develop this student mark sheet with the number of rows and columns. Now this is, yes, again you are trying to divide this into how many columns? 2 columns. It means second row is having how many columns? 2 columns. Second row is having how many columns? 2 columns are there. And second row is having 2 columns. And this is second row, second cell is having how many columns? 2 columns. And third cell is having again how many columns? 2 columns. Right? Yes. Then next one is, now you also have a table header, body, and what is it? Footer. Now these are the tags which are introduced in HTML5. Now that is used, generally it is used for grouping. Now table can be divided into how many parts? I said 3 parts. One is header, body, and what? Footer. And table is also having what? Caption. Table is also having a caption which is displayed on the top of the table. So the head and foot are rather similar to the headers and footers in Word, MS Word. If you take MS Word, where you find the header as well as what? Footer. So header will be which define the heading, and footer where you do summary of your table, you write inside what? Footer, and the content you define inside what? Body. Now this is only to divide it. I mean, it is only for, see, this is only to group. Now if you want to group the similar type of tags, then you are grouping it by using which one? Header, body, as well as what? Footer. Now to understand, not only that, if you want to format or style, now suppose you want to style which one? Header. Then what do? You just apply the style to which one? Header. Now you want to apply the style to the body, then instead of giving to each and every row and what? Column, you just give it to which one? Body. And if you want to apply the format to the footer, you just apply the format to what? Footer tag. Rather than applying to what? Footer or table row, right? So while the body is a main content holder of the table, the 3 elements are for separating the head, body, and what? Foot of a table. It is only for grouping it. It is only for grouping the similar type of tags. Okay, in this case, this is called as which one? Header. And this is called as which one? This is called as which one? Body. And is it any footer is there? No. A collection of tags which are grouped within the footer is called as a footer. A collection of tags which represent data, that you call it as which one? Body. Or you can call it as table data. Table data or table body. And the collection of tags which represent header, that you can call it as which one? Header. For example, see here, I can write like this. I can write like this. Okay, suppose, assume that, yes, there is a dog type. Okay, now for example, see here. For example, okay, T head, okay, T foot, and T body. Example, yeah, this is only for grouping. These tags are used only for grouping. Only for grouping. Okay, for example, see here, please. So there is a body, and I'm just writing here table, some border equal to some 2, and I just write table header. Table header. Now this represent these tags represents what? Table header. This tags represent what? Table header. So where I'm saying table row and table header. Okay. So what is a table header? I'm just writing here suppose year. Okay, I just write year is a table header, and then table header, and I'm just writing it as what? Sales. Okay, table header, sales. Okay, and then I close the table. Yes, a row. This is for creating a row, and this row is having how many headings? 2 headings. One is a year and one more is a sales. Okay, now these tags represent which one? Header of the table. So you group all the similar tags into one tag. And what is the name of the tag? Table head. What is the name of the tag? Table head. Can I give some, what is this here? BG color. Okay, BG color, I just define the big background color for header. I just close the table here, and this is table, and the body, and this is HTML, right? Yes. Now it is only used for grouping and differentiating the tags. It is used only for grouping and differentiating the tags. So that is done by using header and footer, right? Just to see here, but you don't find any difference in output. Now you can see there is a year and there is what? Sales. So can you define what? Table, what is this? Width. Width is how much percentage? 100%. Okay. Now this is year and this is what year? Sales, right? Year and sales. Okay, now this is applying background color for only what? Header. So there is a table. What is the next one you have? Body. There's a table body, and this is the content of the table. So where I'm saying table row and table data, which is nothing but cell. Okay, 2000, and this is year, and this is table data. Okay, table data, and assume that this is called as which one? Sales. This is a sales, and I just close. This is table row, and this is one more row I'm creating. 2001 is a year. Sorry, table row. I'm creating one more row, and this is table data, some 2001, and this is table data. Okay, I just apply some data here. Okay, then I close this by saying table row, and there is a closing of table body. There's a closing of table body. This is also called as a column group. This is also called which one here? Column group. This table body can be defined as what? Column group also, right? A table may contain several table body elements to indicate different pages or groups of data, but it is notable that table header and table footer tags should be appear before table body. Is nothing but structuring the table by just dividing the tags into group, right? Now this is a table data. Now you can apply the style for the table data. I'm just writing table body. Yes. Instead of applying to the each and every row, right? Okay, this is how it is. Then table, there is one more tag is there. What is the name of this here? Footer. Footer is there. Table, footer. To create a separate table, footer. To create a separate table footer. Now table footer. Now what is the name of the tag? Table footer. Table footer. As just right here. Okay, there is a table row and there is a table data. Okay, table data and there is a call span. How many columns I'm trying to do it here? 2 columns, right? And this is okay, sales. Okay, this is I just write here sales summary. I just write it as a sales summary and just close the table data and table row. Now if you see this one, you can see sales summary and you want, yes, I just write here BG color and just define the color as what here? Pink, right? So it is divided into how many parts here? 3 parts. One is a header part, body part, and one more is a footer part. This is a header part and this is body and this is a footer. So you can style the header. You can style the header by applying the style to what? Header. And you can style the body by applying the style to which one? Body. And you can style the footer by applying to which one? Footer. Right? Yes. It is only for grouping it. It is only for grouping it. Okay. Yes. This is one more example where I use table column span equal to 4. Table column span equal to what? 4. Now let us see this. I'll try to copy this example also. So is it all these are useful? Yes. All these are definitely useful. Okay. Yes. Let us see this example here. Okay. Yes. Now document type. But in this example, there is no what here? Footer. There is only header, but there is no footer. Now you can see this is a header of the table and cell 1, cell 2, cell 3 and what? Cell 4. What is this? Is it first row is span with? First row is span with how many columns? 4 columns. Okay, see here. You are saying table border is 1 and table data column span equal to what? 4. Now this is a head of the table, right? Column span means you are merging how many columns? 4 columns and you are representing this as how many columns? 1 column. Okay, 1 column. In the same way, table, suppose this is table data, sorry, this is a header table and there is a, yes, where is the data here? So table border, this is table header, column span equal to 4. This is the head of the table. And after that, there is a table footer, table row, table data, column span. How many columns you are spanning here? 4 columns. Now this is a footer of the table. But footer, see, always a header displayed at the top and footer is displayed at the bottom, irrespective of how you write it. See, suppose first you write the header and after this we have written which one? Footer. And after that I am defining which one? Data. But how it is displayed in the browser? First it will display what? Header. Then it will display what? Footer. Then it will display what? Data. This is how you are organizing it. Again, column span equal to how many? 4 columns. And this is a footer of the table. And this is a table body. Now, how many columns are there here? 4 columns are there. That is cell 1, cell 2, cell 3 and cell 4. Cell 1 and cell 2, cell 3 and cell 4. Now you can see this is cell 1, cell 2, cell 3 and one more is what? Cell 4. Right? Yes. But how you organize? You organize it by dividing the table into header, and one more is a footer and one more is which one? Body. Right? Yes. Now there is also, yes, I think you understood this. Header, body and one more is what? Footer. This is used only for grouping. This is only for grouping what? Tags. This is only for grouping the tags or organizing the tags of which one? Table. You are grouping all the header tags into which tag? T header. You are grouping all the data tags into which one? Body. And you are grouping all the footer tags into which one? Foot. Okay. So table footer, table header and table body. And there is also some more attributes are there. And these attributes are used, okay, to format the cells. Now there are 2 attributes are there. One is cell padding and one more is what? Cell spacing is there. Cell padding is there and cell spacing is there. Now these are the attributes which are used at table level, and these attributes are used at what? Row level. These attributes can be used at what? Column level, right? So there are 2 attributes called cell padding and cell spacing, which you will use to adjust white spaces in your table cells. Okay, the cell spacing attribute define the space between the table cells. Space between the table cells. If you want to define the space between the table cells, you are trying to use which one? Cell spacing. While cell padding represent the distance between the cell border and the content of which one? Cell. So border and the content of the cell. Cell spacing define the border, table border and content of which one? Cell. Between the cell border and the content of the cell. That is defined by which one? Cell padding. Now suppose from here, see, this is a cell border, right? So this is a cell border. If you take this is one cell, or assume that this is one cell, and if a cell padding defines the space from the border, how much space you want, so that is defined by which one? Cell spacing. That is called, cell padding. That is defined by using which one? Cell padding. Represent the distance between the cell border and the content with the cell. Content within the cell, but cell spacing attribute define the space between the table cells. Now space between the each cell, that is represented by using which one? Cell spacing. Cell padding is there and cell spacing is there. For example, now I've taken simple, some employee table is there with a name and one more is a salary. I've just taken one simple example. So where there is a name of the employee and one more is the salary of the employee. So this is HTML table with both. I've taken cell padding and cell spacing. So what will happen if I run this? Now you can see, so there is a spaces between what? Cells. And that spaces between the cells is defined by using cell what? Spacing. For example, if I am writing cell spacing is 2, just to see, can you see the space between the cells or not? Yes. For example, if I am giving cell spacing is 1, okay. Now there is a space between what? Cells. If I am giving cell spacing is 10 pixels, okay. Now you can see There is a space between the cells is how many pixels here? 10 pixels. Okay, 10 pixels. Okay, I'm just writing this as some two cell spacing is nothing but spaces between these cells. And next one is cell padding is from border of the cell, how much space you want it. How much space I have given here? 5. Suppose I'm giving some 10 so that you can understand what is cell spacing is. There is a space from border, how much space is there? 10. So this alignment is anyway center, right? From border, how much space is there? 5. Sorry. How many pixels? 10. How many pixels are there? 10 pixels. Shall we increase more so that you can understand? Now here there is a space here. How much space is there? Yes, 20 pixels. That you can call it as which one? Cell padding. Cell padding this here. Cell padding represent the distance between the cell borders and the content within a cell. But cell spacing that represent spaces between what? Cells. Okay, this is one cell and this is one cell. Now you want to define the spaces between the cells, and that you can define it by using cell spacing. I just given this cell spacing as what? 10. So this you call it as spaces between two cells. So that is called as cell spacing. Cell padding and one more is a cell spacing, right? Yes, these are two more attributes which are used with the table, that is cell padding and one more is a cell spacing. Now sometimes what will happen is you may use a table within the table. Now, sometimes what will happen is you may use a table within the table, and using a table within the table is called as what? Nested tables. Using a table within the table can be called as a nested table. Nested. Nested means what here? Within. Yeah, this is clear? Alright. Up to this, is it clear? Okay. Column span is for merging columns. Column span is merging columns. Row span is for merging rows. Row span is for merging rows, and column span is merging columns. Okay, now suppose here you merge how many columns? 4 columns. And here also you merge how many columns? 4 columns, and represent it as what? 1 column, right? But actually your table is having how many columns? 4 columns, and you are merging down to how many columns here? Only 1 column, right? In the same way, in this example, see here, in this example, actually your table is having how many rows? Only 1 row, right? But you are merging how many rows? 2 rows, and representing it as how many rows? 1 row. Okay, it means this row 1 cell 1 is represented as 1 row. Then row 1 cell 2 and row 1 cell 3. Then next row you'll have cell 1 will be there or not there? Not there, because this cell 1 is represented by merging. Alright, this cell 1 is represented by merging 2 rows. Okay, in the next row there is a row 2 and what? Cell 2. In the next row 2 and what? Cell 3. But you don't have row 2 and cell 1 because row 2 is merged into what? Row 1. So row 1 cell 1, row 2 cell 1 is represented as only 1 row. So in the next row you don't have row 2 and what? Cell 1, because what? Row 2 cell 1 is merged with what? Row 1 cell 1 only. Okay, now that's the reason here it is row 1 cell 1. That's the reason here it is what? Row 1 cell 1. Don't be confused here. Okay, now don't be confused. See here. So this is 2 rows are represented as what? 1 row. Okay, in the next row, suppose if you create one more row, what will happen? Is it this cell will be there? Cell data will be there? No. This particular column, this particular cell data will not be there, because see, this is this is what? A row. This 1 row is merged with how many rows here? 2 rows. Okay, then when you create a next row, you'll have only row 2, cell 2, but you don't have row 2, cell 1, because cell 1 is already merged with row Yes, that's the reason. Roll number is taken how many rows here? 2 rows. That's the reason you don't define row 2, cell 1. You only define row 2, cell 2. You define row 2, cell 3. But there is no row 2, cell 1. Because row 2, cell 1 is merged with how many rows? 2 rows. That is how you have to represent it. Okay, now? Yes. Now you can also create a table inside a table. And creating table inside a table. See, table not only contain text, table also contain what? Image. Just now in the last class we have seen, right? What is that? IPL. Yes. In the last class we have seen IPL table is there, right? There is a table. Can you say this is also one table? Can you say this is one table? Yes or no? See, you can also create a layout with the help of which one? Table. So this is a points table. Points table is there. Now this table is having position, team, points. Now all the things are there or not? Yes. It is organized in the form of rows and columns. But is it border is there? Table border is there? Yes or no? Table border is there, but is it each row is having border? No. You can make border equal to what? None. You can remove the border by saying border equal to none. Okay. Now these are, but this is not, this is called layout. So there is a statistics. This is a statistics, right? Is it table is having only data? No, it is also having which one? Image. Image is there along with which one? Hyperlink. There is a link or not? Yes. So is a number one player. Now if I click on this, will it go to another page and display the information about? Is it display the information about this particular player or not? Yes. This is called as what? Links. This is called as which one? Links. Okay. So next we'll see that only. How to work with the links. Okay. How to work with the links. See, I said, at the end of the course of HTML, CSS, HTML and CSS, you should be able to develop this kind of website. If you develop this kind of website, then only you should say that my HTML mein topo bol ke bolna. Nahi to nahi bolna. Yeah? Okay. Yes. If you develop this kind of website, then only using only HTML and CSS. Okay. Anyway, this form, see, this can be done. Okay. This can be done. Okay. This drop down, you can create it by using which one? JavaScript, and you can load the data and you can perform even actions. Even you can perform the actions, right? Now you can see the CSS. Now, is it this is static or dynamic? See here, this is static or dynamic? Dynamic. This is not a static. This is what? Dynamic. All this data is there in the backend or not? Yes. But if you want, you can put all this data in one, what is that, file and local file system, and with the help of JavaScript, you can able to load this data if you want to practice it. Okay, now if you want to practice it, then you can do it, right? Yes, we'll see all this, like how to create this drop downs and everything by using forms, right? Next is here. Nested tables are there. What is that? You can also create a table inside another table. Now you can use one table inside another table. Not only tables, you can use almost all the tags inside what? Table data tag. That is what I said now. In the table, you not only display the data. Within the table, you can display what? Image. Within the table, you can display what? Link. Within the table, you can display whatever you want, which represent as what? Data. Getting on. So you can use inside the table data tag. Inside the table data tag, you can use any tag. But generally, you don't use, what is that, headers? No? Will you use headers? No. That represent topic, right? Even if table content defines one topic, then you can use headers. And even if your table content, table data represent one paragraph, then you write inside what? Table data what? Paragraph. Now that is also allowed. So whatever you want inside the table data, you can write it. Okay. But writing a table inside a table is nothing but representing table inside a representing table as a table data. Writing a table inside a table is nothing but representing table as a table data. Getting or not? Okay, representing table as a table data. Representing what is my, I think you understood what I'm saying. Okay, representing table as a table data. For example, table you created, right? Table you created. Now suppose assume that this is a some year is there. Okay, this is a year. So there is a year, and there is a year is there, and one more is a sales. One is a year and one more is a sales. So year is a 2001. This is a year, and I want to represent what year? Sales. And I want to represent sales of this year. Then within this, I'm creating one more. Tell me here, within this, I'm creating one more table. I'm creating one more table inside this. I'm creating one more table inside this. Okay, how you create a table? You create a table, but the table is created inside a TD. That is nothing but table data. For example, this is January sales. This is some Feb sales, and this is March sales, and this is some what is that? April sales. Now here I try to create a table inside what here? Table. Okay, but this can be represented by writing, by using spanning or not? Yes, but rather than spanning, creating a table makes more simpler or not? Yes. So inside this, again you create one more table. Inside this, again you create one more table, and this represent sales of the year called 2002. So always you represent this as which data? Table data. This is represented as a table data. Okay. So that is called as a nested. Let us see. There is a simple example is there. Now table border is 1, width is there. There is a table border is 1, and there is a width. How much here? 100%. And there is a name and salary. Name and salary. Now you can see table data. See here, table is there, and this is a table. How many tables are there? There is a table. Inside a table, there is one more table is there. See, this is a table, and inside the table there is one more table is there. But this table is created as what? Data. TD. This table is created as one data. Okay, we'll just see this one. Otherwise, suppose assume that very simple one, so that we can go for next one. Yes. So there is a document. Document type is there. Okay. See here, and I think you are familiar. You are familiar with how to write in Notepad. How to write in Notepad and how to test it. What do you say here? Yes or no? Okay. So then next, what we'll do is I'll tell you how to install VS Code and how to install the server and how to deploy your web application into what? Server, and how to type the URL in the browser and how to load the page from server into browser. We'll discuss all these things. Okay, now, so that you'll be knowing it how your web application is developed and deployed in the local server. It's in the local server, but you can also place in the remote server, right? Okay, so this is an example of nested what? Tables. Nested table example. See, lot of tags are there. Number of tags are there in HTML, right? Okay, but you come across number of tags, number of attributes while start developing what? Applications. Okay, start developing application. Now this is a table, and then I'm saying border is 1. Can you give border color? Yes, border color, some red. I've given. Now this is a beginning of the table, and this is a end of the table. Next is what? Table row. Can you put as a table header? Can you say this is table header? Yes or no? Yes. It is a good practice to separate the header, body, and footer, right? This is the structure of HTML5. This table header border, the table header body are the tags which are introduced in HTML5. Which HTML version are you learning? HTML5. But this body, BG color, okay, BG color and background, these are deprecated when you move to HTML5. But if you want to change the background color or background image, you try to apply it with the help of style. See, formatting always you do it in HTML5 by using which one? Styles only. That is with the help of CSS. Okay, now yes. Now this is table header, and I'm creating a row with table header. Now then I just give the width. So width equal to how much? 100%. Backside students, are you there? Don't see mobile. Okay. Yes. Don't see mobile here. Okay. Yes. So width I've given what? 100%. Table header, table row. Now what is a table row? Year is there. Year. Okay. Your mobile will not go anywhere. Okay. Now, so table row, and this is table header. And this is also table header. And this is what here? Sales. Table header. Then this is a heading. Next is a table body. And table. What is this? Table. Create one more row. And table data 2010. Then again table data. But what is data now? Table itself. What is a table? Border. I'm just giving border color. I'll just change this color to some border color. Border, for having color, first you should have which one? Border should be there. Okay, no? Right? Okay, then this is a table, and then close the table data. Oh. Okay, table data, right? So within this, again I'm creating table. Table what? Table row. Can you say this is a header row or not? Yes, this is a header row, and this header row is having some number of months. Table header. This is table header, and again table header. This is a table header and table header, and this is also table header. Okay, and then I close row. But this is a header row or not? Yes. Then table row, and this is table data. Now this you can call it as which one? Sales. This is one cell, and this is a second column. Okay, table data, and this is one more column. Yes, and I try to close the row. This is closing the table row, right? Then I close the table and table data. See here. So yes. Now once you run this, now this is here, and this is what here? Sales. But are you given the size of this table? No. You are not given the size of this table, right? Give the size of the table. What is this? Width. Take the 100%. So width is a 100% of this. Now this is January, February, and March. Now these are the sales or not? Yes, but in the place of row span and column span, you can just create one table inside a table. This makes it more easier. Okay, instead of row span and column span, but you must have the knowledge of row span and column span also, right? Yes. Okay, now you can go for another, you can go for, yes, table row, one more table row. I just copy. So this is next one, right? Table row. This one only, right? This is one more row. Yes, sorry. This is table data. Yes or no? Now this is TD, table data. And after this, you have to close what? Table what? Row also. Yes or no? Here table is closed and here table data is closed and here row is closed. Then you create another row. You create another row here. This is another row with what? 2011. 2011. See here. Just to see, I close the table. Row is closed here. Here I close the row. This is 2011. So here row is closed or not? Yes, row is closed. And after that, you have to represent what again? Table data. Table data, same. Table data. And this is what again? Sales. Table data and this is a sales. So just try to refresh this one. Now this is one more table with Jan, Feb, and what is it? March. But this is writing a table inside a table. And writing a table inside a table, and that you can call it as what? Nested. Now this example also I'm placing it so that you'll be knowing it. Yes, how to work with the nested tables. This is one more example. Next one is working with what here? Links. Is it table is clear? All of you? Is it table is clear? Table and previous class we have seen list. Table sign list. Okay. Yes. The next one is links. Okay. Next is a links. Okay. The main purpose of developing HTML is creating what? Links between the pages and sharing what? Data. Right? So HTML links. Links are nothing but what here? Hyperlinks. Hyperlinks. Because a web application is a collection of what? Web pages. Using HTML, are you developing static web application or dynamic? Static. Static means you design the page. Static means what? You design the page and place inside server. Is it content of that page will be a fixed or changes? Fixed. The content of that web page doesn't changes. It is what? Fixed for all customers. All clients and all customers. That is called as which one? Static. Okay, you design the page. You design the page and then place inside what? Server. So whenever client type the URL, you'll get the same page. If any changes to be done, you have to do the changes. You have to do the changes in the page at which side? Server side. For example, if you take Naresh Shetty website only, Naresh Shetty is there. Naresh Shetty dot in a, okay, Naresh Shetty dot in is there. Yeah. Okay, now this is Naresh Shetty dot in, but this is static or dynamic? Static only. It's not a dynamic, it is a static. For example, if you see new batches are there. For all people, new batches will be same. List of new batches will be the same or different? Same only. Okay, now if I say classroom Amirpet, then you'll get one table. We'll get table, huh? Yes, this is one table. This is one table with number of rows and columns. Now this is one, this is information, right? But suppose if any new batch starts, what they'll do? What they'll do? They'll do the changes in this page or not? Yes, but it is not a dynamic. It will not be changing what? Dynamical. It is what? Fixed. Whenever there is a changes in the web page, you do the changes in what? Page. You do the changes in page and again you place inside what? Server. You do the changes in the page and put inside what? Server, right? So whose content doesn't changes, that you call it as which one? Static. But whose content changes from one request to another, that you call it as which one? Dynamic. For example, all your, suppose for developing this dynamic, what you required? A program at which side? Server side. What you required? One program at server side. That program will create which page? That program will create which page? Dynamic page. That program will create a dynamic page. I showed with one example, right? Like Servlet is there. Servlet is which program? Java program. What is Servlet? Is a Java program only. But that program will generate the output. Based on the input, it will generate output. Based on the input, it will generate the output. Output in HTML, output in the web is in the form of HTML. Output is always in the form of what? HTML. It means your servlet is generating the output in the form of what? Web page. But that web page content is a fixed? No. That program will generate dynamic output. Dynamic output means? Or dynamic output means? Dynamic output means whose output changes from one input to another. For example, see, you write one program. Suppose in Java, you write one program. Class demo is there. And you are saying public static void main string args. What do you do it? You create one scanner. Scanner. I'm creating one scanner. Okay, now scanner I'm using to input or not? Yes, I'm using a scanner for input. Okay, now then what I'm saying? Some a equal to integer. Some a equal to int s dot x s dot what? Next int integer b equal to s dot next int. This will read which values? Integer values. Yes or no? Or what do you say here? Okay, integer c equal to a plus b and system dot out dot println. What is this? C. Okay. Suppose I input 10 and 20. Then what is the output? 30. 30 is displayed on console or not? Yes. If I enter some 40, suppose if I enter 40 and 20, what is the output? 60. Is it this program is fixed or dynamic? Dynamic. This program output is fixed or dynamic? Dynamic. Suppose if I don't write like this, if I say 10, and if I say here 20, is it this output is fixed or dynamic? Fixed, because values are given within program. Values are given within program. In the previous case, values are input. Values are input. Based on input, it will give output. Based on input, it will give output. Yes or no? This is static, because always the value of A is 10, always the value of B is 20. If I want to change A value, then I have to change inside what? Program. I have to change inside what? Program. What is it? Dynamically generating based on the input? No. Ring honors. Servlet is there. That is where you required programs at which side? Server side. Okay, using HTML, you give input. And based on the input, servlet generate output. But this output is in the form of, what? HTML. It will generate one dynamic page. It will generate one dynamic page. And that page content or output changes from one input to another. Very easy. Web development is very easy. You learn some 100 questions. Always they'll ask only that questions only. Okay. Advanced Java interview is very easy. Web development interviews are very easy. But Java language interview is tough. Because Java means ocean, right? You have so many questions. If you learn 200 questions, they may ask two, not one question. Suppose you learn so many things. Suppose he asks, tell me where you implemented polymorphism in your project. In real time, where you implement polymorphism, where you implement inheritance, where you implement encapsulation, Katham. Getting or not? Okay, you'll say, what is object oriented? The first question is, tell me what is object oriented. You prepare so many things, right? You prepare so many things, but first question is, what is object oriented? Question is very simple, but you don't know what is object oriented. But you know what is encapsulation, you know what is polymorphism. He asks because you are a fresher, right? Fresher means simple questions. What is object oriented? What is the advantage of object oriented? Why object oriented? Now these are simple questions which you have to know it. What is HTML? What is the need of HTML? Is it HTML is for static or dynamic? These basics, you should know it, right? Yes, not only just a writing page. Some theoretical questions also you should aware of it. Because they may ask you, right? HTML links are there. And these links also called which one? Hyperlinks. You find different types of links like text links, email links also, right? If you click on email, then will it open? If you click on what is that web link, then it will open. If you click on text link, it will open. Yes. So these are called as which links here? Hyperlinks. Hyperlinks are used to link documents. Hyperlinks are used to link what? Documents available within the same web application, or hyperlinks are used to link documents available in two different applications. Hyperlinks are used to link two text available within the same page. Now you are linking the content of the same page. You are linking the content between the pages available in the same application, or you are linking the pages available in two different applications by using which one? Hyperlink. But for linking, what do you need to know? Address. For linking, what do you need to know? Address. अगर address नहीं मालूम है तो link कैसे करते? नहीं कर सकते. कहां से कहां तक link करना है? इसके ऊपर click करे तो किधर जाना? Okay, that is how you route it, right? Okay, routing means moving from one place to another, right? Moving from one place to another, that you call it as what? Linking, right? Hyperlinks. Now you can click on a link and jump to another document or another website or another content available in the same web page, right? And this hyperlinks you created by using one tag, and which is very important tag. And what is that? Anchor tag. So this is very important tag in what? HTML. Because when you open any website, you can see only what page that is? Landing page or index page, or it is called as what? Home page, right? Home page, first page, you will get complete book. No. If you open, if you see book, you can see only first page. You just open one page. It means you move from one page to another. But only one page is displayed or not? Yes. From that, you navigate from one page to another page. For that, you'll be using some navigation buttons. And behind that navigation button, what do you have? Behind that button, what do you have? Hyperlink. Button के ऊपर click करे तो किधर की जाता ना? So what is the behind that? Hyperlink. Hyperlink can be represented as a button. Hyperlink can be represented as what? Image. Hyperlink can be represented as what? Text. Don't think that button के ऊपर क्लिक करे तो कुछ कोड लिखना बोल के, कुछ नहीं है. खाली एक टैग लिखना. क्या टैग लिखना? एंकर टैग. खाली एक ही टैग लिखना. वो क्या है? एंकर टैग. So we can develop. Now HTML anchor tag defines a hyperlink, and href it followed by which one? URL. URL stands for Uniform resource locator or location. Uniform resource location. Where your resource is there. What is a resource? What is a resource? A page, another web page. Okay, where you want, which page you want to open, which page you want to open, or which resource you want to open. That you call it as that you can call it as resource and location, and it followed by which one? Linked text. I say no. This can be represented as what? How many types of links are there? Text links are there, image links are there, button links are there. But you can display as a text, you can display as an image, you can display as what? Button. Anything you can do. So the most important attribute of a element is what? href. href stands for H बोले तो क्या है यार? Hypertext link reference, hypertext reference or hyperlink reference attribute, which indicates the link destination. What is the link destination? The link text is a part that is visible on what? Reader. But this text, I said no, you can also represent it as a text or any other. Now clicking on the text, the reader will move to which one? URL address, right? But how to work with these links? Otherwise, we'll see how to work with these links, which is very important. Don't miss this. Tomorrow, we'll discuss about which one? Hyperlinks along with the tables. Along with the tables.